This might sound nuts, but hear why your body can produce enough iron to make a nail. 1. Iron in blood. The average adult body contains 3 to 4 grams of iron, mostly in hemoglobin, red blood cells, and stored in the liver, spleen, and bone marrow. 2. Enough for a nail? A small iron nail, 3 inches, weighs about 3 or 4 grams, matching the body's total iron content. Extracting all iron from hemoglobin could forge a tiny but real nail. 3. Why we need it. Iron binds oxygen in blood. Losing even 2 grams causes anemia, fatigue, weakness. 4. Fun fact. Ancient warriors supposedly recycled weapons from battlefield blood, though it'd take hundreds of people to make a sword. Here's why we have fingerprints. 1. Grip and friction. Fingerprints aren't just for decoration, they improve grip. The ridges on your fingers help you hold on to things, especially slick or smooth surfaces. Think of them like natural tire treads for your hands. Touch sensitivity. Those ridges also amplify touch. They help your skin detect textures and tiny vibrations, making your fingers insanely sensitive. That's why you can feel the difference between silk and sandpaper with just a light touch. Sweat control. Fingerprints help manage sweat distribution. The ridges channel moisture away, which helps maintain your grip even when your hands are sweaty. Evolution built in its own anti-slip tech. Wait. Everyone's are unique. Even identical twins don't share the same fingerprints. That's why they're used for identification. They're practically impossible to duplicate. Your fingerprint pattern is shaped by both genetics and random factors during fetal development. Bonus, we're still not 100% sure why the patterns are the way they are. Loops, whorls, arches. But we know they form around the 10th week of pregnancy, and they stay the same for life unless you get seriously injured. Bottom line, fingerprints boost grip, enhance touch, manage sweat, and make each of us uniquely identifiable. They're one of the body's most underrated tools. Understanding the significance of a pulse is crucial in emergencies. A pulse indicates the heart's function in pumping life-sustaining blood throughout the body. When the heart stops, as in cardiac arrest, the pulse vanishes, halting blood flow. This cessation can lead to brain damage within just a few minutes due to the absence of vital oxygen. Therefore, recognizing and addressing the loss of a pulse is paramount in medical situations. Surviving without a pulse might sound unimaginable, yet certain medical interventions can provide temporary solutions. One method is ECMO, extracorporeal membrane oxygenation, where a machine takes over the heart's and lungs' functions, ensuring oxygen-rich blood is circulated. Another technique is CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, where manual chest compressions simulate heartbeats and maintain a weak but necessary blood flow until the heart can restart itself. Both methods are vital in keeping patients alive under critical conditions. Therapeutic strategies such as hypothermia therapy offer additional avenues for extending survival time. By cooling the body, metabolism slows, minimizing the oxygen demand of vital organs. This temporary state can buy precious minutes or even hours when traditional methods fall short. In the realm of real-life cases, patients on advanced life support have managed to survive hours without a pulse, emphasizing how artificial circulation can dramatically alter outcomes. However, time is critical. Brain damage begins within 4 to 6 minutes when oxygen is completely cut off. Immediate action is essential, for although temporary survival is plausible, the eventual return to natural heart function is necessary for long-term viability. The claim that your nose can remember 50,000 different scents is wild, but it's actually backed by science. Your sense of smell is incredibly powerful. Inside your nose, you've got about 400 different types of smell receptors, and they work in combinations, kind of like letters forming words. This allows your brain to detect and distinguish tens of thousands of unique scent profiles. In fact, some research suggests the human nose could potentially identify over 1 trillion different odors. The 50,000 number is a conservative estimate of what we can consciously remember and recognize. What makes it even cooler? Your olfactory system is directly wired to the brain's emotional and memory centers, specifically the amygdala and hippocampus. That's why a random smell, like fresh-cut grass or your grandma's cookies, can instantly trigger a vivid memory or feeling, even from decades ago. So yeah, your nose isn't just for sniffing, it's a memory machine. You're carrying around a personal scent library, hardwired to your emotions, that can hold tens of thousands of smells, without you even trying. Humans possess a fascinating trait. They glow in the dark, albeit subtly. This phenomenon, known as bioluminescence, reveals that we are constantly emitting minuscule amounts of visible light. However, this glow is about 1,000 times less intense than the threshold our eyes can detect. making it invisible without specialized equipment, such as sensitive cameras. The source of this elusive glow lies in the chemical reactions occurring within our bodies. As we metabolize food and oxygen, our cells produce free radicals. These free radicals then engage with lipids and proteins, sparking tiny reactions that release photons, the elementary particles that constitute light. This intricate dance of biochemistry unveils a hidden layer of our existence. Interestingly, the intensity of our glow is not static. It fluctuates throughout the day. Research indicates that the brightest glow occurs in the afternoon, with diminished radiance during the night. This rhythmic variation links closely to our internal biological clock and metabolism, suggesting that every individual's glow is governed by an invisible personal timeline. Moreover, not all areas of the body glow equally. Regions like the face, particularly the forehead, cheeks, and neck, exhibit a slightly stronger emission of light. This variance is attributed to heightened metabolic activity in the skin, emphasizing that the glow intricately reflects our physiological state. In conclusion, the notion that we are glowing beings sounds fantastical, yet it is grounded in scientific reality. Right now, your body is radiating light, a gentle reminder of the energetic processes continuously unfolding beneath the surface. Here's how your brain tricks you every day. It fills in gaps. Your brain doesn't see everything, it guesses. There's a literal blind spot in your vision, but your brain fills it in using surrounding detail so you don't notice. You're not seeing reality, you're seeing a brain-generated best guess. 2. It rewrites your memories. Memories aren't recordings, they're reconstructions. Every time you recall something, your brain alters it slightly. Details get added, removed, or distorted. So half of what you remember may be fiction. 3. It runs on autopilot. Your brain creates habits to save energy. So a lot of what you do, driving, scrolling, snacking, is handled unconsciously. You think you're in control, but your brain is running a background script most of the time. 4. It sees patterns that aren't there. This is called pareidolia, seeing faces in clouds or Jesus in toast. Your brain is wired to detect meaning, even if it has to make it up. It would rather see a false pattern than miss a real threat. 5. It's biased, hard. Your brain takes mental shortcuts called cognitive biases, like confirmation bias, only noticing what supports your beliefs, or negativity bias, focusing on the bad stuff. These shortcuts help you react fast, but they distort your judgment constantly. Bottom line, your brain is powerful, but not perfect. It edits reality, replays lies, and runs on shortcuts, tricking you every single day. Recognizing that is the first step to seeing things more clearly. Here's why we forget things. 1. Your brain filters constantly. You're bombarded with info every second. Sight, sounds, smells, thoughts. Your brain can't store it all, so it forgets on purpose. Forgetting is actually a feature, not a flaw. It helps you focus on what matters. 2. No repetition, NAR's memory decay. This is called the forgetting curve. If you learn something and don't review it, your brain starts dumping it within hours. Repetition tells your brain, this is important, keep it. No repetition? It gets deleted. 3. Interference messes with recall. New info can push out old info, or similar memories get tangled. For example, if you learn 2 phone numbers close together, one can overwrite or confuse the other. This is called retroactive and proactive interference. 4. Lack of focus, cache, weak storage. If you're distracted while learning something, your brain barely saves it. Ever forget someone's name seconds after meeting them? You didn't really encode it to begin with. 5. Stress, fatigue, and emotions affect memory. High stress floods your brain with cortisol, which messes with memory formation. Sleep is also key. Memories get consolidated while you sleep. No rest, no retention. In short, we forget because the brain filters, prioritizes, and sometimes gets overloaded. Want to remember more? Focus deeply, repeat often, sleep well. Here are terrifying facts about deep ocean creatures. 1. They survive under crushing pressure. In the deep ocean, over 10,000 feet down, the pressure is intense enough to crush a human like a soda can. Yet these creatures thrive in total darkness, freezing cold, and unimaginable pressure. Some create their own light. Many deep-sea creatures are bioluminescent. They glow in the dark to lure prey, escape predators, or mate. The anglerfish, for example, has a glowing lure hanging from its head to trick other fish into swimming straight into its mouth. They eat in horrifying ways. Food is scarce, so deep-sea predators are brutal. The gulper eel can unhinge its jaw and swallow prey bigger than itself. The vampire squid shoots out glowing mucus to escape. And the bobbit worm hides in the sand and ambushes prey with slicing jaws. Some are practically aliens, creatures like the giant isopod, a massive armored sea bug, or the glass squid, which is literally see-through, look like they belong in a sci-fi horror movie, and they've barely changed in millions of years. Evolution slowed to a crawl in the deep. We barely know what's down there. Over 80% of the ocean is unexplored. Scientists discover new species all the time, some with giant teeth, translucent bodies, or horrifying hunting tactics. The scariest part? We've probably only scratched the surface of what lives in the dark. The deep ocean is Earth's final frontier, cold, crushing, and crawling with monsters we barely understand. Your gut isn't just for digestion. It has its own nervous system, called the enteric nervous system, often called the second brain. It's made up of over 100 million nerve cells and communicates constantly with your actual brain. This gut-brain connection happens mainly through the vagus nerve, a sort of information superhighway between your gut and brain. Now here's the wild part. Around 90% of your serotonin, the feel-good chemical that stabilizes mood, is actually produced in your gut, not your brain. The same goes for dopamine and other neurotransmitters. That means if your gut is out of balance, your mood likely is too. What affects your gut? Mainly your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living in your digestive system. A healthy microbiome helps regulate mood, reduce anxiety, and even improve focus. But if it's disrupted by poor diet, stress, or antibiotics, it can lead to inflammation, mental fog, depression, and anxiety. Bottom line, your gut talks to your brain all day long. If your gut is stressed, inflamed, or out of balance, your mood will feel it. Take care of your gut. Eat whole foods, fiber, fermented stuff, and your brain will thank you. The lionfish, adorned with sleek, flowing fins and adorned with bold zebra-like stripes, is an alluring sight in the depths of the ocean. Its appearance is almost mythical, captivating the eyes of divers and ocean enthusiasts alike. Yet beneath this stunning exterior lies a treacherous truth. The long, venomous spines of the lionfish serve as a formidable defense mechanism, delivering a painful sting that can cause swelling, nausea, and paralyzing effects in humans. One must exercise caution when encountering this beautiful yet dangerous inhabitant of the sea. Beyond its mesmerizing appearance, the lionfish has established itself as a major threat to marine ecosystems, particularly in the Atlantic Ocean. Originally hailing from the Indo-Pacific, lionfish were likely introduced to the Atlantic via the aquarium trade. Lacking natural predators in their new environment, they have flourished, resulting in their rapid reproduction and overwhelming numbers. With a voracious appetite, lionfish feast on native fish populations, leading to significant imbalances within coral reef ecosystems, a landscape that relies on biodiversity to thrive. Lionfish are not just passive hunters, they are exceptional predators, employing their fan-like fins to deftly corner prey. In mere milliseconds, they can devour fish whole, showcasing their swift and efficient hunting techniques. Some even display rare social behavior by hunting in groups, demonstrating their adaptability. In summary, the lionfish stands as both a visual marvel and a menacing threat, embodying the duality of nature's beauty and peril. As it continues to invade new waters, the importance of awareness and conservation efforts to protect vulnerable marine ecosystems has never been more critical. Base jumping is revered for its thrill and excitement, yet it stands at the pinnacle of danger among extreme sports. The term base encompasses buildings, antennas, spans, and earth features, serving as a reminder of the breathtaking heights from which enthusiasts leap, often armed with nothing but a parachute and nerves of steel. The grim statistics paint a stark picture. Approximately one death occurs for every 2,300 jumps, a staggering number, particularly when compared to the safer realm of skydiving. The treacherous nature of base jumping arises from various inherent risks. The maddening speed at which jumpers descend renders deployment of the parachute a test of milliseconds. At minimal altitudes, every moment matters, and the margin for error shrinks perilously. Obstacles such as urban structures and unforgiving cliffs loom ominously on their descent, and deceptive winds can become an adversary, turning a thrilling leap into a desperate scramble for survival. Further complicating this perilous sport is the mindset of many jumpers, who often forsake safety protocols. Venturing into less regulated territories and dodging safety checks, some thrill seekers flirt with catastrophe. Honorable mentions in the extreme sports category, such as free solo climbing, wingsuit flying, and cave diving, each present their own extremes of danger. Yet the statistics surrounding base jumping resonate starkly. Calculated risk morphs into calculated destruction. For the untrained or reckless, base jumping dances on the edge of disaster, ultimately claiming lives in pursuit of the ultimate adrenaline rush. Attraction is a fascinating blend of biological, psychological, and chemical elements that create a complex response within us. When two individuals are attracted to each other, their brains engage in a fluttering dance of chemicals. Dopamine floods the system, sparking a euphoric sense of pleasure, while serotonin plays its part in mood positivity. The bonding properties of oxytocin weave a deep connection, captivating hearts and igniting obsessions that feel almost irresistible. Facial features contribute significantly to our instincts. Symmetrical faces often draw our gaze, hinting at good health and robust genetics. Our primal minds are conditioned to recognize certain characteristics. Big eyes can evoke notions of youth and vulnerability, while a strong jawline can symbolize strength and stability. These subconscious cues effortlessly lead us to associate specific traits with desired qualities, influencing our choices at a fundamental level. Moreover, voice and smell trigger connections we might overlook. The resonance of a voice can capture attention, while pheromones subtly communicate genetic compatibility, stirring innate attraction. We also inherently gravitate toward those who mirror our values or interests. Similarity fosters relatability. Body language can amplify this magnetism, as confident gestures, eye contact, and warm smiles hold a potency that transcends spoken word. Together, these diverse influences converge, revealing that attraction is indeed an artful fusion of instinct, evolution, and social context that shapes our deepest connections. Water can boil and freeze simultaneously under specific conditions, thanks to a phenomenon called the triple point. Here's a quick breakdown. 1. Triple point of water. Every substance has a unique triple point, a precise temperature and pressure where all three phases, solid, liquid, gas, coexist in equilibrium. For water, this occurs at 0.01 degrees Celsius, 273.16 K, and 601.657 pascals, 0.06 atm, much lower pressure than normal atmospheric pressure. 2. How it happens. At this exact pressure and temperature, ice, solid, melts into liquid water. Liquid water evaporates into water vapor, boiling. Water vapor deposits back into ice, sublimation. Since all three processes occur at once, boiling, liquid, gas, and freezing, liquid, solid, happen simultaneously. 3. Real-world example. In a vacuum chamber, reducing pressure to the triple point allows water to boil and freeze at the same time. Key takeaway. This rare equilibrium is only possible at water's triple point, where all three phases dynamically coexist. Octopuses are some of the most bizarre and fascinating creatures on Earth. First, they have 3 hearts and blue blood. That's because their blood uses copper instead of iron to carry oxygen. They're also master escape artists, able to squeeze through tiny cracks thanks to their boneless, soft bodies. Octopuses are incredibly intelligent. They can solve puzzles, open jars, and even use tools. They can change color and texture instantly to blend into their surroundings or communicate, thanks to special skin cells called chromatophores. And get this, they can regrow lost limbs, and each arm can even think and move on its own without input from the brain. In short, octopuses are like alien geniuses living in our oceans. Why do we yawn? 1. Brain cooling theory. Yawning may help cool down the brain by bringing in fresh air, improving alertness. When tired or overheated, yawning increases blood flow and oxygen intake. 2. Oxygen myth debunked. Contrary to popular belief, yawning doesn't significantly boost oxygen levels. Studies show it persists even in high oxygen environments. 3. Contagious yawning. Seeing others yawn triggers empathy and social bonding, linked to brain areas involved in mimicry, like the mirror neuron system. Even animals do it. 4. State change signal. Yawning often occurs during transitions, e.g., on waking up before sleep, to reset brain focus or physical state. Stretching during yawns may prepare muscles for activity. Still, the exact purpose remains debated. Yawning is a mix of physiology, social cues, and mystery. The idea that your brain can power a light bulb comes from the fact that your brain runs on electrical energy. Yes, actual electricity. Right now, your brain generates about 20 watts of power. That's enough to light a small LED bulb. This electricity comes from the movement of charged particles, ions, across neuron membranes. Every time you think, move, feel, or even dream, billions of neurons fire electrical impulses called action potentials. What's wild is that your brain uses this electricity incredibly efficiently. It makes up just about 2% of your body weight, yet it consumes around 20% of your body's energy. That's because it's constantly active even when you're asleep. Now, could your brain literally power a light bulb? Not directly. You can't plug your head into a lamp. But in theory, if you could harness that 20 watts, it's enough to light a low-watt LED. So while it's more of a metaphor than a practical suggestion, it's still true. Your brain does generate enough electricity to power a light bulb, making it not just your thinking center, but also a tiny biological power plant. Rats are surprisingly intelligent animals, often underestimated due to their small size. Here's why they're considered among the smartest rodents. 1. Problem-solving learning. Rats excel in maze navigation, remembering complex routes for food rewards. They can learn to press levers, solve puzzles, and even operate simple machines like vending machines for treats. Studies show they understand cause and effect relationships. 2. Social-emotional intelligence. Rats display empathy. They'll free trapped cage mates even without a reward. They recognize and remember other rats and humans, forming social bonds. They laugh, via ultrasonic chirps, when tickled and show signs of regret after bad decisions. 3. Memory adaptability. Rats have excellent long-term memory, recalling solutions to problems for months. They adapt quickly to new environments, avoiding dangers like poisoned bait, why they're hard to exterminate. 4. Tool use communication. Some wild rats use sticks to dig or test food safety. They communicate via high-pitched sounds, body language, and even scent cues. Conclusion: rats rival larger animals in intelligence, making them key in neuroscience research. Their combination of memory, social skills, and adaptability proves that intelligence isn't just about brain size. Here's what makes the pangolin one of the most fascinating and bizarre animals on the planet. They are completely covered in keratin scales, the same material as human fingernails. When threatened, they curl into a tight armored ball that even lions struggle to bite through. It's like nature's tank. They have no teeth, but they have super long sticky tongues, sometimes longer than their body. They use them to slurp up ants and termites, eating up to 70 million insects a year. Their stomachs even have keratin spikes to grind the bugs up. They are elusive and solitary. Most people have never seen one in the wild. Their quiet nature and excellent camouflage makes them incredibly hard to study. Sadly, pangolins are the most trafficked mammal in the world, hunted for their meat and scales, especially in parts of Asia and Africa. All 8 species are now threatened with extinction. They have existed for tens of millions of years, long before humans, and they haven't changed much. They're like living fossils with armor. Bottom line, the pangolin is a gentle, bug-eating, armor-plated oddball, and one of the most unique mammals alive. It's fascinating, but it needs protection before it disappears for good. In the 1800s, some people ate mummies due to a bizarre mix of superstition, pseudoscience, and exotic fascination. Here's why. 1. Medical beliefs. Europeans believed powdered mummies, mumia, could cure ailments stemming from ancient Middle Eastern medicinal practices. Scarcity status. Real Egyptian mummies were rare, making them a costly remedy and a macabre status symbol. Public spectacle. Wealthy Victorians hosted unwrapping parties, sometimes consuming mummy bits as part of the morbid entertainment. Mistaken identity. Early modern apothecaries often sold fake mummy powder, made from recent corpses, but demand fueled real trade. By the late 1800s, the practice faded as science debunked its benefits and Egypt condemned the desecration. Here's how ancient civilizations predicted the future. They looked to the skies. Ancient people believed the heavens held the answers. The Babylonians tracked the stars and planets, laying the foundation for astrology. They noticed patterns like eclipses and planetary alignments, and used them to predict events like harvests, floods, and even the rise and fall of kings. They used omens and signs. In ancient Rome, priests called augurs interpreted the behavior of birds to make decisions, from military campaigns to political moves. If the birds flew wrong, the whole plan could be scrapped. Lightning strikes, animal entrails, and dreams were also seen as divine messages. They relied on oracles and prophets. The Greeks had the famous Oracle of Delphi, where a priestess supposedly channeled the god Apollo. People would ask questions and she'd respond in cryptic, poetic messages. Rulers based real-world decisions on these riddles. They studied cycles. The Maya and Egyptians used complex calendars based on astronomical cycles. They didn't just tell time, they believed time itself was cyclical. And by understanding the past, they could predict the future. Solar events, equinoxes, and planetary shifts were treated like cosmic clocks. Bottom line, ancient civilizations didn't have science like we do today, but they watched nature, read signs, and believed the universe left clues. Their predictions blended astronomy, religion, intuition, and a deep belief that everything was connected. The Corral Supa civilization, also called Norte Chico, is fascinating for several key reasons, making it one of the most important ancient cultures in the Americas. 1. Oldest known civilization in the Americas, 3000–1800 BCE, flourished around the same time as Egypt's pyramids and Mesopotamia's early cities. Predates the Olmecs, often called Mesoamerica's mother culture, by over 1,000 years. 2. Advanced urban planning without pottery or war. Built pyramids, plazas, and sunken circular courts in Corral, its largest city. No evidence of weapons or warfare, possibly a peaceful society. Developed quipu, knotted string recording system long before the Inca. 3. Thrived on trade, not agriculture alone. Relied on marine resources, fish, shellfish, and traded with inland communities for crops like cotton, used for nets and textiles. Engineered irrigation systems to grow crops in arid river valleys. 4. Mysterious decline. Collapsed around 1800 BCE, possibly due to climate change, drought, or seismic activity. Its influence may have spread to later Andean cultures like Chavin. Why it matters. Corral Supa reshapes our understanding of early civilizations, proving complex societies could emerge without staples like pottery or warfare. Its discovery in the 1990s rewrote South American history. Here's how bananas are radioactive. Bananas contain potassium-40, a naturally radioactive isotope. Since bananas are rich in potassium, they give off a tiny amount of radiation, about 0.1 microsieverts per banana. But don't freak out, this level is completely harmless. You get more radiation from a flight, or even sleeping next to someone. In fact, scientists joke about the banana equivalent dose to compare low levels of radiation. You'd have to eat millions of bananas at once to get sick, and the potassium overload would kill you long before the radiation would. Yes, bananas are radioactive. No, you're not in danger. Keep snacking. In 1968, a movie predicted AI would take over by 2001. Spoiler, it didn't. But some AI predictions were scarily accurate. Let's talk hits and misses. Predictions that came true. 1. Talking assistants like Siri. 1968, Arthur C. Clarke's 2001. A Space Odyssey imagined HAL 9000, a conversational AI. 2011, Siri debuted, less murderous but just as sassy. Self-driving cars. 1983, Knight Rider's kit foresaw autonomous cars. 2024, Waymo's taxis drive mostly crash-free in 3+ US cities. AI-generated art. 1950s, Alan Turing said machines might one day compose sonnets. 2024, DAL E3 makes Shrek in the style of Van Gogh. Predictions that flopped. 1. Robot maids by 2000. The Jetsons, 1962, promised Rosie the robot. Reality, Roomba just vacuums and gets stuck on socks. Human-level AI by 2020. 2014, experts guessed 50% odds by 2040. 2024, ChatGPT still can't fold laundry. AI presidents. 1987's RoboCop predicted an AI leader by 2032. Reality, politicians still argue about emails. The wildest prediction? In 1909, Nikola Tesla said AI might one day replace humans. But for now, at least we still do better memes. Here's why smoking was once considered healthy. 1. Doctor-approved ads, 1920s, 1950s. Tobacco companies hired doctors to endorse cigarettes, claiming they soothed throats and aided digestion. Some brands even advertised as physician-tested. 2. WWI Weskaterwide, soldier culture. Cigarettes were included in military rations to calm nerves and boost morale, making smoking seem patriotic. 3. Misleading health claims. Early ads promoted smoking for weight loss, asthma relief, and even as a lung cleanser. Yes, really. 4. Delayed science. The link between smoking and cancer wasn't widely accepted until the 1964 U.S. Surgeon General's report. Before that, tobacco companies funded dubious research to cast doubt. 5. Social glamorization. Hollywood stars like Bogart and Monroe made smoking look cool, while ads targeted women with slogans like "reach for a lucky" instead of a sweet. Irony. Some 1950s health brands even added fiberglass filters claiming they made smoking safer. Spoiler, they didn't. Here are interesting things about flamingos. Pink from shrimp. Their iconic color comes from carotenoids in their diet, algae shrimp. No shrimp, Shriktur, pale flamingo. 2. Upside-down feeders. They eat with heads flipped upside down. using sieve-like beaks to filter food from water. 3. One-legged mystery. Scientists still debate why they stand on one leg, may conserve heat or reduce muscle fatigue. 4. Milk for babies. Both parents produce crop milk, red, fatty fluid, to feed chicks. 5. Group name, jar flamboyance, a fitting term for their vibrant social flocks. Bonus fact, their knees bend backward? Nope. Those are actually ankles. Their knees hide under feathers. It sounds like a joke, but it's real. Falling coconuts cause about 150 deaths per year, while shark attacks kill around 5 to 10 people annually worldwide. Why? Coconuts grow up to 80 feet high and can weigh 3 to 4 kilograms, 6-9 pounds. When one falls on your head from that height, it can cause severe brain injury or death, basically like getting hit with a bowling ball. Meanwhile, shark attacks are rare, and fatal ones even rarer. You're statistically more likely to be killed by a vending machine than a shark. Bottom line, coconuts might look tropical and harmless, but they're deadlier than sharks if you're standing under the wrong tree. Honey is basically immortal food. Archaeologists have found pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs over 3,000 years old, and they were still safe to eat. Here's 3 main reasons. 1. Low water content. Honey is super dry, which makes it hard for bacteria or mold to grow. 2. High acidity. It has a low pH, creating an environment that kills most microbes. 3. Natural hydrogen peroxide. Bees add enzymes that produce this mild antiseptic, giving honey built-in antibacterial power. As long as it's sealed and kept dry, honey literally can't go bad. Honey isn't just sweet, it's self-preserving. It's the only food that can last forever without refrigeration or preservatives. Here's why your stomach gets a new lining every 3 days. Your stomach is filled with powerful acid, strong enough to dissolve metal. That same acid would destroy your stomach if it weren't protected. So your body has a genius solution. It constantly rebuilds the stomach lining. The cells that line your stomach are replaced every 2 to 4 days, depending on your health and diet. Why so fast? Because the acid and enzymes break down not just food, but also your own tissues. Without regular cell replacement, you'd literally digest yourself from the inside out. Bottom line, your stomach is eating itself, and your body knows it. That's why it's always one step ahead, growing a fresh lining every few days to keep you alive.